G'day guys, Socket here. Today's video is a small extract from the Speaker Specs What Does It Mean tutorial. But just in case you were looking to figure out how to do the calculation to work out the box size for your speaker and didn't want to search all the way through that 3-hour tutorial, I thought I'd make a small little extract and post it as a separate video so it's easy to find. So that's what we're going to cover today in this little video clip. At the beginning of the video clip, there's a little bit around FS and air springs and some technical stuff to kind of explain how sealed boxes versus free air differs, because that's important to understand when it comes to actually calculating the box size. Now, if you're not interested in that stuff or you understand that stuff already, then jump ahead to the timestamp that's shown above, and that'll take you straight to the part about calculating out the box size. So I hope you find this video enjoyable. Let's dive on in. So far we've been talking about speakers mounted in free air, just on mounting rings, venting into a door void or into a dash, or speakers set up in IB. But how do things change when we put speakers into a sealed box or a ported box? Well, first of all, the terminology that we use, the shorthand that we use changes. So FS stands for resonant frequency in free air. S is free air. When we change to a sealed box, then we use the term resonant frequency in a sealed box, which is FC. So whenever you see the little symbol C, it means a sealed box, and in a ported box, the little symbol is B. So, when you're looking at the tech data sheets or something about your speakers and it talks about FC, then you know they're talking about a sealed box, right? So what's different between free air and a sealed box? Well, as we talked about earlier, we have air that in a sealed box can't escape, can be compressed. Now in a ported box it can escape, but it releases pressure at a certain rate based on the size of the port. But look, I'm not going to get into ported boxes because that's a whole nother technical level that I really don't want to spend during this tutorial. So we're just going to talk about sealed boxes for the moment. But when the air is trapped in a sealed box, then there's a certain level of compression, as we talked about before, and it acts like an air spring, right? And that obviously is the amount of air spring is determined by the kind of size of the box. But when you look at free air, we have the electrical dampening, the back EMF, and we have the suspension and cone flex losses and the friction on the mechanical side, to give us a total QTS. QTC is similar, so the the electrical damping is the same, but the mechanical dampening now includes this air spring, or this acoustic dampening as we call it, right? And so QTC will be different to QTS. And this shows up when we're talking about the resonant frequency, right? So let's say we have a resonant frequency in free air of 70 Hertz, right? When you put the speaker in a sealed box, the resonant frequency will go up. And that's because we've got extra stiffness in the suspension because of this air spring, right? So your resonant frequency will go from 70 to 75, or 80 is just illustration purposes, but the key takeaway is the FS will move up. So FC will always be greater than FS. Alright, so what about if you put the speaker in a box that is too big or too small for the speaker's design, right? Because, we want to get the best response from our speaker, right? So we want it to be put in a box of the correct size. Well, if it's in a box that's too big, then the effect of the air spring is either greatly reduced, or if the box is super big, then it will act like it's in free air. But generally, it's a bit like having a soft suspension. All those kind of things apply. The speaker will have less control over the cone. You get greater excursion, which means deeper bass and less punch. You'll have more chance of over excursion and all of the usual stuff that happens when you've got less less stiffness in the suspension, right? Because effectively we're reducing the impact of that air spring. And I'm talking about all things being equal here, right? When you're just comparing a speaker in free air versus a speaker in a big box, not much will change because the air spring is greatly reduced. Now, if you put in a box that is smaller than you need, then the opposite is true. You'll get more of an air spring impact, more control over the cone, it takes more power to drive it, less deep bass because you can't, the excursion on the cone is not as great as on the softer, less controlled speaker. It'll be more punchy, but can be a lot more peaky, right? So, yeah, that's the effect of having it in an oversized box or an undersized box, right? So, how do we actually work out the correct size box that we need for a particular speaker? Well, I promised earlier that I would go through it, and now's the time. So this is the formula that we're going to use. It is QTC, so the resonant frequency in a sealed box, which will use the resonant frequency in sealed air, the speaker's QTS. We're going to use the VAS number, which is, if you remember, the VAS number is the volume of the air that has the same springiness as the speaker's suspension, right? As we said before, we use that in box calculations, and so here we are. And then we're going to have the box volume, right? The internal box volume, excluding the speaker, excluding any internal bracings, just the box volume in cubic feet or in litres or whatever units that you're working in. So that's all fine. What we're going to do though is actually pick a target quality or target dampening level, right? So 0.707, QTC of 707 is balanced. If you want lower bass, aim for a lower QTC target. If you want punchier bass, then aim for a slightly higher target. If you need the smallest box possible, then go for a space saver. So the lower the QTC target, the larger this box volume is going to come out at. So if you want a smaller box, then aim for a higher QTC value, but just be aware it's going to be more punchy, and the bass won't be as low, right? So it really depends on what you're looking for, what you're going to choose, but most people would choose 0.707. So we need to rearrange the formula so that we can solve the box volume, and so we do that. So the box volume equals VAS times QTS squared, and it's going to be QTC squared minus QTS squared, right? So yeah, okay, so now we're going to do some maths. And so if we just plug in all of those values, we end up with 40 times 0.185, 0.5 minus 0.185, and that ends up giving us a number of 23.5 litres. So that is the size enclosure that you need, internal volume that you need in an enclosure to give you a balanced playing subwoofer or mid bass or whatever it is that you're building, right? Now, if you chose a lower QTC value to aim for, then this number might be higher. It might be 32, and if you chose a higher QTC number, it's a bit punchier with, I guess, a higher low end. This might be 21 litres or 19 litres or something. I'm not sure, but the thing is that this box volume will change depending on your target QTC. So there you go, guys. So by choosing the right QTC value, you can change the sound of your speaker in a box and change the size of the speaker box that you're going to fabricate. Yeah, so that's really interesting. So once again, if you're interested in all this stuff about how speakers work and the physics and stuff behind it, then jump back and check out the full tutorial. I'll leave the link below. Otherwise, guys, if you've got any questions, please feel free to pop them down below. I'll get to them as soon as I possibly can. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode.